This is E&P Reports, a vodcast from Editor and Publisher Magazine, the authoritative voice of news media since 1884, serving newspapers, broadcast, digital, and all forms of news publishing.
And greetings once again. I'm Mike Linder, publisher of E&P Magazine. As always, we urge our audience that's listening on various podcast platforms of choice to follow us. Those that choose to watch the video version of this program on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button below, ring the bell that goes with it. You'll get an update each and every time we upload a new episode of this weekly vodcast series we call E&P Reports. The Post and Courier is making a bold move. Some might think it's bold. Some might think it's normal. That's why we're having this episode, because they will be reducing the print delivery schedule to 5 days a week from 7. I assume that 7-day-a-week print schedule, PJ, has been around for over 100 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wish I knew someone who had a legacy magazine that's been printing for over. Oh, that's me. I can feel for you. I always, because when I took over E&P, we were, it was losing money. And some of my advisors at a small group that were giving me, helping me through the due diligence were saying, just stop printing. And I kept thinking, I can't stop that, 100-year plus, legacy. This must have been a hard decision, right?
Well, it's certainly a hard decision. But, the economics of it, it's one of those things, gosh, we've been looking at this since 2018, 2019. And really, when we went through the Google News initiatives, we started talking about frequency of print. And just being able to plan out that runway and when do you have enough, print readers that are digitally active that you can, flip the switch. And so this is the year. This is the year.
We're already into the meat of this interview, and I have yet to actually introduce those who do not know PJ Browning, who is president of the newspaper division at the Evening Post Publishing. PJ, I know you know this. We go to ChatGPT now and ask it who you are. They say you are the president of the newspaper division of Evening Post Publishing, publisher of the Post and Courier in Charleston, South Carolina. You're highly respected, according to ChatGPT, as a media executive with extensive experience in newspaper leadership, audience development, and revenue innovation. If I may add to that, you're also going to be a keynoter at Burrell Phoenix coming up, are you not?
Yeah. Yes.
I will have a minor panel, but you'll be the one that, revs up the audience. The most important distinction, I think, and the best feather in your cap is you were E&P's Publisher of the Year in 2019.
Yes, thank you. Hey, I'm glad ChatGPT didn't say that I was old.
No, it didn't even say venerable. With me, it says he should be retiring. Anyway, we're going to unpack this decision about print frequency and chat with PJ about what's going on at the Post and Courier on the backside of this message.
This episode of E&P Reports is exclusively sponsored by Blocks Digital, formerly Town News. Even though the name has changed, their commitment to the media industry is as strong as ever. Blocks Digital is now even better positioned to deliver integrated solutions like content management, audience development, advertising revenue, video management, and more. Join the over 2,000 news publishers worldwide that power their ongoing digital transformation with Blocks Digital, serving over 141 million monthly users who view over 6.5 billion pages of content each year. You can trust Blocks Digital to empower you, to connect you at scale with the community you need to reach. Blocks Digital, formerly Town News, now reimagined to help meet the news publishing challenges of tomorrow and beyond. Learn more at blocksdigital.com.
All right, PJ, you made the announcement to your audience. You're cutting back a couple days a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. Have you gotten any feedback already? I know you had, the switch is April, right? Is that what the plan is?
Right. Yeah, what, we wanted to make sure that we gave plenty of time. I mean, we've been around a long time. We love our print readers, but we wanted to make sure that our announcement was in plenty of time that we can have digital discovery meetings. So we literally have digital discovery meetings planned, multiple per week. We have virtual sessions, we have in-person sessions all over the Tri-County area, inviting, our readers in to make sure if they have any questions regarding their e-paper. So we've had a lot, we've got just in a couple of days, we've got 160 people that will be coming to those digital discoveries, which
This is
that's
this is
good.
not unlike Walter Hussman when he
No,
did the
no,
iPad thing, right? In
yeah.
Arkansas, he had these little meetings all over the state. You're actually bringing people into a room and showing them how to read the
Yeah,
flip book version?
we did a printed guide in the day that we announced. We went ahead and did a printed guide on how to use your e-paper. And then we'll do the digital discovery sessions. So all in all, I would say it's been fairly quiet for a transition like this. I think it's because we've waited long enough to try to get people digitally inclined. That being said, you always have that one hardcore print subscriber that if you change anything,
Of course.
they're going to be upset. So,
Let me dive into this on a number of levels. I mean, we have the same conundrum here at E&P where my flipbook version is very popular. I have more readers of E&P magazine online, but I feature it heavily all over the website, got it on the app, and technically in print, but we still print. And as a publisher, it's very expensive. The margins are not great. I'm sure you're feeling the same thing. Uh, Nowadays, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, the auditing counts the flipbook subscriber as a subscriber, right? So you this,
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
for us, our digital subscription, our e-paper subscriber is critically important to us.
and is that number good? I mean,
Yeah, we waited until it actually surpassed our home delivery
there you go.
subscriptions at right at the point where and then the technology, if we had done this a few years ago, we wouldn't have been ready. Technology now tells us every day, every month, we know how many of our print readers have gone in and messed around with the e-paper. So, you just have that more line of sight than what we had before for this transition. So I'm actually excited about it. And I've had several readers that are excited about it. We've added additional content on Mondays and Tuesdays to
There
the
you go.
e-paper, trying to do everything right. Of course, one of the you always get good feedback and you take it to heart, but some of the concern was the puzzles in Monday and Tuesday. What am I going to do if I can't print? I don't have a printer, so I can't print out from the e-paper my puzzle on Monday and Tuesday. So we're going to put those puzzles in Sunday, right? We find ways to make that customer happy. So yeah, just little things, and I call it the listening tour. Now we've given ourselves ample time to listen.
What about the advertising community? I mean, I have very, very, very long-term print advertisers that I inherited that still proudly take that back page and want that inside front cover. I mean, I know I'm B2B, narrow publication, you're a newspaper, but how is the advertising community reacting to this?
So what we picked Monday and Tuesday for a reason.
Yep.
Monday and Tuesday are our low advertising days, and gosh, Mike, I remember the days where we would be like, oh, can we, sell quarter page or full page ads in Mondays or Tuesdays, just to keep up the revenue. So those 2 days were picked for a reason, and it really is not strong advertising days. So
You have a you have a state-of-the-art press facility in North Charleston, don't you?
we do.
Is it modern, new? When was it constructed? Is commercial printing a big part of your top line? What's going on?
Yeah, it is, and all of our expansion markets also have a print component. So we're not getting out of the print business.
Right,
That is a 2021 is when we
right.
brought that press in. We actually that's a 2008 Goss Magnum press that came over from Sweden.
Hmm.
And we put that in, and it's a great press for us. It's a smaller scale press than what we had at our old facility, and that was all intentional, knowing the future of where we were going with printing. But that being said, we still we have all of our community newspapers that we still print, and then we have commercial printing customers as well, throughout South Carolina.
What I have to ask, and you have to understand, I am a board member of the International Newspaper Group, ING, but the reason for that distinction is not because I know anything about presses. I don't even know what a lithoplate is. I was an ad guy for 20 some odd years, but we host their awards every year, so that's why I'm on the board. But one of the questions I wanted to ask is, are you downsizing at all? Are you keeping I mean, unless you feel this is an unfair question, is the facility still going to be operating at capacity, and is everybody keeping their jobs out there?
They are, and timing is everything. So we had a press retirement at the end of the year. So not that would have changed our mind, but we won't backfill that particular position, since we had the retirement. But other than that, we really, we have enough commercial printing that we're set. There's no one losing their job or anything. Even our carriers, the carriers, it's interesting. I think we had a few do cartwheels because they said we get 2 days off a week in a row, which was, I think, important to them. And then the conversations with the carriers, and we again wanted to do it right, was about route optimization. There will be some carriers, just because of where they deliver, that will have to make some rate adjustments, so that's favorable to them. But we factored all of that in when we did the analysis on this.
All right. So last time you were on the program, we discussed your expansion into Columbia, Myrtle Beach, I think Greenville. Those expansions, correct me if I'm wrong, are digital only expansions, correct? You don't have a print product in those markets, do you?
Well, now we do have a monthly print product
Oh,
in Greenville
okay.
and Spartanburg. We will have a monthly print product in our Rock Hill expansion. And then in Myrtle Beach, we also have monthly print publication. And then in Columbia, back in 2015 is when we purchased the Free Times, which is a weekly tabloid. So we
That's right.
actually are weekly with Post and Courier Free Times now. But all of that being said, the interesting thing is they're absolutely digitally focused operations. And with the digital focus, what we have gradually added in, we just launched in February 7th, 6th and 7th in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Columbia, was the daily e-edition.
See, that's what I
So,
was going to ask you about. So you're going to do that daily flip book
mhm,
e-edition, like we do that monthly magazine with that cover,
yeah,
which I like doing because it's my differentiator. We're proudly a magazine. I'm Ian. I think that's one of the ways you say I'm not a blog. I have this. So you have that daily record for the community now in an
right.
e-edition. So you're a big believer in that then.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've always said content is king. And I heard at one of the conferences, I remember a guy said, well, platforms are King Kong. And I thought, boy, that's true. If content's king, it's the platforms that's King Kong. So it's figuring out where people want to read that content. But one of my favorite comments that came back in from one of our print readers who does read us, the e-paper, he said, the only thing I would like to see you add is, can you add a sound of turning the page when
Wow.
they're on my e-edition? Because he said he just loves the sound of turning the page on the real newspaper. So, it's the same content, but some people like a finite reading experience, and that finite experience comes with an e-paper or a hard newspaper.
We're running out of time. We're soon going to have the music play off. You are, I hope you don't mind, a marquee guest. You are a mover and shaker in this legacy industry that is obviously very digitally focused. And there is no better operation than yours. And there's a reason why you're keynoting at Burrell, because so innovative you are down there, where you still haven't lost that legacy brand. Um, where do you see print going in the future? Do you see more and more adopting this kind of a style and concentrating more? I mean, put on that crystal ball, whatever you don't do, or your think hat. Give us that prognostication if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's those that haven't made that switch yet. For us, we decided to stay with carriers and not go with the postal, which is probably a whole nother segment.
A
Uh,
whole other segment, yeah.
right, but I think it was important for us to stay with carrier delivery, and we had a lot of questions around that. But yes, from a financial modeling standpoint, I think it's a have to, but I also think that customers are getting, I mean, most people have a cell phone today. They're getting more and more digitally inclined. So, yeah, I feel like the change to 5 days is probably a minimal impact.
And you're good at branding yourself as still a newspaper, even though you have that strong digital focus. There's, as you likely know, some publishers feel like, oh, I don't even want to discuss that. I mean, I want to push that 100-year-old masthead to the side and be more modern focused. Do you still feel that's important to have that, legacy backbone
Yeah.
in this ecosystem today?
Yeah, it is for us. I will tell you, in South Carolina, the Post and Courier brand
Yeah.
is nothing, right? It's always been about content for us. I think if we were a weak brand, weak content, maybe we could have a different discussion about rebranding, but we've always been known for our content. And that award-winning content, makes a difference in the communities that we serve. So that's what's carried us, and that's our legacy.
PJ Browning, president of the newspaper division at the Evening Post Publishing. Of course, keynoter at Burrell, But more importantly, the 2019 E&P Publisher of the Year, which was my first year as publisher. You were my first POY. Thank you so much for your valuable time. We're going to check in with you after this shift, see how things are going, and we appreciate you being part of the program.
Thanks for having me. Take care.